Nowadays, exams are conducted through objective tests comprising multiple choice questions. The reason is that in long answer tests, students tend to cram. Objective tests encourage students to analyze problem logically. In this video, we take up some multiple choice questions related to contract of agency under Indian Contracts Act 1872.
The doctrine of apparent authority applies. 1. Where a person allows another who is not his agent to appear as his agent. 2. Where a principal allows his agent to appear to possess more authority than he actually has. 3. Where the principal reserves or limits the authority of an agent which the agent would have in ordinary course of business, but does make this known to third parties. 4. Where the principal allows it to appear that the agent has authority although his authority has been terminated. Option A 1, 2. Option B 2, 4. Option C 3, 4. Option D. All of them. Central intent of the question, to test the understanding of situations where the doctrine of apparent authority is invoked.
1. Correct but incomplete. Apparent authority may involve someone who isn't an actual agent but is made to appear as one by another.
Second, correct. This represents the core of apparent authority, allowing an agent to seem more empowered than they are.
Third, incorrect. Limiting an agent's authority and informing third parties does not invoke apparent authority, as this negates deception.
4. Correct. Apparent authority persists even if the agent's actual authority has been terminated, provided the principal creates such an appearance.
Correct option is B. The doctrine centers on how a third party perceives the agent's authority based on the principal's actions, even if misleading. The conditions which entitle an agent to exceed his authority under the doctrine of necessity are: Option A, that he could not communicate with his principal. Option B, that the course he took was necessary in the sense that it was in the circumstances the only reasonable and prudent course to take. Option C, that he acted bona fide in the interest of the parties concerned. Option D, all of them. Central intent of the question, to assess knowledge of the criteria that allow an agent to exceed authority in emergencies.
Option A. That he could not communicate with his principal. Correct. Communication with the principal is impractical in emergencies.
Option B, that the course he took was necessary in the sense that it was in the circumstances the only reasonable and prudent course to take. Correct. The action must be necessary and reasonable under the circumstances.
Option C, that he acted bona fide in the interest of the parties concerned. Correct. The agent must act in good faith and in the interest of all parties.
Option D, all of them. Correct. This encapsulates all the above points.
Correct option is D. Each condition is a fundamental requirement for invoking the doctrine of necessity.
Normally, in the books, just the MCQ and options are given. The students select option on their intuition or by fluke and attempts to tally with the correct option given at the end.
Which type of agency is created in relation of husband-wife? Option A, agency of implication. Option B, agency of estoppel. Option C, agency of necessity. Option D, agency of appointed. Central intent of the question, to identify the type of agency inferred from the marital relationship.
Option A. Agency of implication. Incorrect. While implications arise in marital contexts, they don't strictly create this agency.
Option B, agency of estoppel. Incorrect. This involves preventing denial of authority, not specific to marriage.
Option C, agency of necessity. Correct. If one spouse acts in a way necessary for the other, e.g., purchasing essentials, this applies.
Option D, agency of appointment. Incorrect. Explicitly appointing an agent is unrelated to the marital relationship.
Correct option is C. The relationship occasionally invokes agency of necessity, particularly in emergencies or essential needs. When agent is liable to pay compensation to principal? Option A. Negligence. Option B. Misconduct. Option C. Non-application of skills. Option D. All of the above. Central intent of the question: to examine scenarios where an agent's actions result in liability.
Option A, negligence, correct. Failure to perform duties competently causes liability.
Option B, misconduct. Correct. Any wrongful act incurs liability.
Option C, non-application of skills. Correct. Not exercising reasonable skill when expected creates liability.
Option D, all of the above. Correct. Encompasses all the listed scenarios.
Correct option is D. All options describe circumstances where the agent breaches duties owed to the principal.
In some books, however, the correct option is explained while other wrong options are not discussed. So, the student does not go through complete analysis of the question and all the options.
The liability of pretended agent is known as dash. Option A. Liability by holding out. Option B. Liability created by law. Option C. Liability by rectification. Option D. Liability of relation. Central intent of the question: to identify the legal term for liability when someone acts as an agent without authority.
Option A, liability by holding out. Correct. This arises when someone falsely represents themselves as an agent.
Option B, liability created by law. Incorrect. Too vague for this context.
Option C, liability by rectification. Incorrect. Rectification concerns correcting a document, not liability.
Option D, liability of relation. Incorrect. This phrase lacks legal significance here.
Correct option is A. Liability arises because the pretended agent misled others into believing they had authority. To create an agency dash is not required. Option A. Principal. Option B. Agent. Option C. Consideration. Option D. None of the above. Central intent of the question: to identify non-essential elements for forming an agency relationship.
Option A, principle. Incorrect. A principle is essential for agency.
Option B, agent. Incorrect. An agent is integral to agency.
Option C, consideration. Correct. Agencies can exist without financial or material consideration.
Option D, none of the above. Incorrect. One element, consideration, is non-essential.
Correct option is C. Agency relationships often exist informally, even without consideration.
In this video, the questions with options are first put up. It is followed by the central meaning and intent of the question, inspiring critical thinking and analysis. Each option is then logically explained to infer whether it is correct or wrong.
To whom the agent is responsible? Option A. Contractor. Option B. Sub-agent. Option C. Principal. Option D. None of these. Central intent of the question: to determine the primary entity to owes duties to agent.
Option A, contractor. Incorrect. Agents may deal with contractors but own no direct responsibility.
Option B, subagent. Incorrect. The agent isn't directly responsible to a subagent.
Option C, principal. Correct. The agent acts for the principal, making them the primary responsibility.
Option D, none of these. Incorrect. Agent is responsible to principal is the correct answer.
Correct option is C. The agent owes duties such as loyalty and diligence to the principal. Who creates the contractual relation between two parties? Option A. Principal. Option B. Co-agent. Option C. Broker. Option D. Agent. Central intent of the question: to identify the intermediary in contractual relationships.
Option A. Principal. Incorrect. Principals are parties to the contract, not intermediaries.
Option B, co-agent. Incorrect. Co-agents assist but don't establish contracts.
Option C, broker. Correct. Brokers facilitate contracts between parties.
Option D, agent. Partially correct. Agents may create relationships, but with broader roles.
Correct answer C. A broker specifically intermediates to create relation, often in financial or property dealings.
Having explained all the options, the correct option is finally inferred through further logical deliberations. So, the student understands how to make logical analysis for answering MCQ.
A person employed to do and represent is called. Option A. Principal. Option B. Servant. Option C. Agent. Option D. Owner. Central intent of the question: to test knowledge of terminology describing agents.
Option A. Principal. Incorrect. Principals are those represented.
Option B, servant. Incorrect. Servants perform duties without representing others.
Option C, agent. Correct. Agents represent principals in dealings.
Option D, owner. Incorrect. Owners are not representatives.
Correct option is C. Agents are legally authorized to act and represent another. Dash. Agents gets extra remuneration. Option A. General agent. Option B. Broker. Option C. Sub-agent. Option D. Dale creditor. Central intent of the question: to identify agents compensated for assuming additional risks.
Option A. General agent. Incorrect. Their compensation doesn't include risk premiums.
Option B, broker. Incorrect. Brokers earn commission, not extra remuneration for risks.
Option C, sub-agent. Incorrect. They receive standard remuneration.
Option D, del credere. Correct. These agents guarantee obligations and earn extra.
Correct option is D. Dale creditor agents assume financial risk, justifying additional compensation. Who can become an agent and allows incur liability? Option A. Minor. Option B. Both minor and amp adult. Option C. Adult person. Option D. Insolvent person. Central intent of the question: to understand eligibility and liability criteria for agency role.
Option A. Minor. Incorrect. Minors can act as agents but cannot incur liabilities.
Option B, both minor and adult. Incorrect. Minors can represent but not be held liable.
Option C, adult person. Correct. Adults can act as agents and may also incur liabilities.
Option D, insolvent person. Incorrect. Insolvent person may not incur liability.
Correct option is C. Adults can act as agents and may also incur liabilities.
dVidya is constellation of creators, teachers, and students for spreading education. Learn through practical work. Work from home jobs on training completion. Students study from free resources. Do practical assignments and get paid. Do practical projects working from home. Creators create study materials in text and digital form and earn money working from home. Teachers provide online and on-site support and coaching.